Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into GARP's challenge against the Navy 10-star event over on Extra Island with a new meta captain guide to help you guys complete all of the color missions for Chopper Man to get your hands on stuff like limit break materials, gems, great resources for your account, and a whole bunch more. Now, if you're a new player and you haven't done your GARP's challenges yet, you'll probably find that some of them can be a little bit overwhelming, and hopefully this guide will help break down each stage for you and give you guys the meta captains to be using to easily take down the Navy. In today's video, we are going to be focusing on the captains rather than the subs. I have kept it very accessible, free-to-play friendly, no supports, all of that stuff, so you guys have a lot of freedom with your team building. Now, there are a bunch of videos on this content. I will leave a link to the playlist in the comment section as well, so you guys can check out some other runs to get it done. But these captains should be able to help you get it done very, very nicely. When it comes to GARP's Challenge Navy, there is no normal attacks only, which is great for wave clearers. You do need to bring a bind and a despair remover for the same turn, so ideally someone that can do both works great. You need threshold twice throughout the run, and you need a character that has hunger. So hunger being a very endgame sort of limit break, or an ability to get recovery orbs to remove it that way is essential for whatever team you guys are actually using. I'll break down some sub options and some replacements for the units on the team, but if you enjoy the video, belt the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button. If you want to keep up with the series, hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on the fun. But with that said, let's dive into GARP's Challenge Navy 10-star event. We're going to start it off with strength, and just like the rest of this series, we are using a Rush Kaido friend captain. He works exceptionally well for this content because, like I said, there are no normal attacks only, and his end of turn damage works exceptional. Now, the leader that we're using is Ulti. Yes, Stump using Ulti in 2023. Never thought I'd see the day, but Ulti makes this very, very easy, and then you can build out the rest of the team very powerhouse and driven-centric. Ulti does boost fighters and powerhouse units, so you do want to try and build the team in that regard. But remember, Kaido buffs all strength characters, and his end of turn damage is basically going to help carry you through the quest anyway. Ulti can remove despair, so she's going to be our dedicated despair remover, so that works quite well for this particular team. We are using Treasure Map Kid. Treasure Map Kid removes hunger. Fantastic unit for this particular event if you actually have him. However, any rare recruit that has hunger will fit the bill. You can use literally anyone you like. Any strength unit that's going to give you recovery orbs is also going to work. You can just use them on that stage. There also is threshold, and for that we do have Zoro. The treasure map unit Zoro removes 2 turns of threshold with his special. He has double special activation, and he gets his cooldowns back later down the line because of his sailor ability that gives him a bunch of cooldowns as well. I would highly recommend picking this free-to-play character up, even if you are a newer player. He's very, very handy in every single treasure map as a wave clearer. Plus, he's a fantastic unit for this particular piece of content, so it works quite nicely. Versing Smoker Tashika and Tashigi and Hina, this is where we get the bind and the despair. Ulti's going to remove the despair. Orochi removes the bind. He's our bind remover, but if you don't have Orochi, because Kazuna Insignias are very annoying to come by for newer players, you can easily just bring another bind remover and replace lead performers. So that way you can get the Super EX condition for Kaido. Ulti does trigger that as well, which is super nice. Kaido triggers Ulti, and it all works out very, very hunky-dory for the strength team. The only downside was building out Powerhouse, building out Fighter, and sort of keeping those classes rather than doing types. However, like we've seen with the previous episodes and utilizing something like a Kainu, you don't have to make the team synergize completely because Kaido is just so damn strong. His end of turn damage is going to pick up the pieces if you guys can't kill every single stage. And he just makes it very, very easy. On this Fuji stage, stereotypically, we used to stall a lot on the back units because they didn't really do anything. But with end of turn damage units, you have to basically just kill this stage in one turn. Utilizing Kaido's Super X allows us to get a burn mechanic, gives us a full bottle, well, the top row Wano slots, and then you can use any other special to just help you like get the kill on this particular stage. Killing Fuji is basically the priority. I wanted to try and keep the Wano orb on Kaido, so that way I could actually apply the Ignite ability on the final stage against a Kainu. Now against a Kainu, he is going to give us a burn, and he turns into the opposite type whilst removing all of our positive effects. He only lets you use 2 specials on the final stage as well, but Kaido actually has a limit break ability that can actually get around that, which works really, really nice. We are going to use his rush special, so that way we get a bunch of extra damage with our strength characters. And as you guys will see here, literally just with the Kaido special and a good orb roll, we are in a really, really good spot to take out Akainu. Once Akainu revives, he comes back with 2 turns of threshold, and he wipes away your positive effects, so just be mindful of that. But Kaido is just so damn powerful that we don't even have to worry about that. Literally just tapping our perfects, and we can easily kill. Remember, you have his end of turn damage as well, and it works out quite nicely. Prime, Beard, and Queen. Queen and King are absolutely fantastic for these particular events, especially because there are no normal attacks only. So when they are in their zone forms, they have end of turn damage. They give so many cooldowns with their auto trigger and with their special alike. Plus, they boost the color that they are respective to. So Queen is buffing Dex units. Whitebeard is also buffing Dex units. And we're just in a really, really good spot. I believe Ace triggers... no, we actually don't have anyone to trigger Whitebeard's super class or super type here. As we don't actually need it. We basically just want him for his end of turn damage. That's the big reason we are using Whitebeard. Whitebeard's a bit better than Kaido in my opinion. You can run Kaido, but Whitebeard just sort of does it a little bit nicer. Luffy and Ace, the treasure map unit, have the hunger limit break ability for this team. So if you guys don't have them done, you can just bring anyone else that has hunger or anyone that can rotate orbs into recovery. There's a lot of cerebral units like V2, VV Becker that you could definitely use here. Or the Sanji Pudding Kazuna Legend, they also have hunger. Nowadays, there are a lot of rare recruits that have hunger, so keep an eye out for some of those Dex ones that do. You can easily just replace Luffy and Ace with that unit. And then you can find another way around getting the Blind and the Despair. But they not only do they have hunger, but they are our Blind and our Despair remover, which works quite well. We are using the PvP Barto to get around Threshold. If you guys don't have him, you just want to bring any unit that can remove Threshold. Ideally, you want to bring a character that has double special activation, or a unit that has 2 ways of getting around Threshold. That's sort of like the big upside to bringing Barto. On the Smoker stage, we are utilizing X-Drake. X-Drake is going to lock our orbs, which works exceptionally well for Queen and his super type. But we also get an orb buff with the X-Drake special. So that way we can get the auto trigger for Queen on the Kizaru stage. Queen's going to start giving us cooldowns, which is really, really fun. But mainly, now we have end of turn damage. And as long as we break the barrier of Kizaru, which is actually fairly easy to do if you bring a ship that makes perfects easier to hit, you can easily take out Kizaru. I would highly recommend picking up the Whale Shark ship for pretty much all players. It, in my opinion, is a little bit nicer than the Hose ship. However, if you get the Hose ship to level 12, it makes perfects easy to hit as well. So you could always do that if you are a sort of mid-game player, making your way into the end game. On the Fuji stage, we are going to utilize the carryover of Queen and the Chain Boundary. We're actually going to use the Queen special now. We're also going to use Whitebeard, so that way we just have enough damage, or we need to make sure we have enough damage to actually kill on this particular stage. Because Fuji does have quite a chunky bit of HP, and we also got a really, really bad orb roll, so that was a little bit annoying. Nevertheless, the end of turn damage is still very, very strong, and with Queen in his own form, you are going to have a double end of turn damage. Akainu's going to blow away our positive effects. He turns into a super type, but he does turn into the opposite color to our captain, which means that we are going to have type advantage on the final stage. We get the final auto trigger of Queen, thanks to the Whitebeard special, so that way we get a carryover of an attack boost, and then we can use X-Drake once again to not only remove the burn, but give us an orb boost to easily kill here. On the revive, we are going to use the Bardo special to remove that threshold once again, and we're just going to be in a really, really good spot to take out Akainu. Literally just with the chain lock, that's all we need. Nowadays with these meta captains and like the absolute power creep of these legends, just literally tapping with low HP and type advantage with like a singular buff is more than enough to actually take out poor old Akainu. On to Quick now. We are utilizing the combination of Akainu and King once again. And just like the Strength rendition, we are utilizing a more class-centric team rather than a color-based team. Obviously, the whole team is quick-based. However, we are focusing on Driven and Powerhouse. Navy, Hody, and then obviously into Worst Generation. This is where the content does start to get a little bit more endgame rather than pre-game. And obviously, you have opportunities to sort of make these teams a lot stronger than what you guys see in these videos. But I really just wanted to focus on your two captains, and running a hybrid combination of the two makes it very, very easy to take down this particular piece of content. Now, remember, Akainu does need to eat quick, strength, and dex orbs to build up his versatility. His versatility is incredibly powerful, so I would highly recommend doing that, especially on the early stages where they actually give you 5 quick orbs. And it is a little bit annoying because you will miss out on a few orbs on the next stage, but it's not the end of the world because you can just use this stage to build up more orbs. Remember, you don't have to run this content no stall and as fast as I'm doing it. If they give you the extra turns, you can use the extra turns. It's only going to be more beneficial for you and make it your life a lot easier. It just turns out that, obviously being a very endgame player, this content for my box was just very, very easy to do with the characters in front of me. Bonnie, with her limit break, has hunger. So she is a fantastic rare recruit to use, even though she's not being boosted by Akainu. She just gets around the hunger debuff for us, plus she also removes Bind and Despair. Fantastic character for the Bind and the Despair stage. We are utilizing the Sea Monster to remove Threshold. He's a free-to-play Clash character, very easily attainable, has been out since Shank's Crew, so most of you guys should be able to clear that content very, very easily. There's plenty of videos up for that if you guys need a hand there. Use the Bonnie special to remove the Bind and the Despair. Plus, like I said, have her limit break available to you, so that way you can get around that hunger debuff. Obviously, she is a rare recruit, but any other character that has hunger will fit the bill here. However, you can also use a character that gives you recovery orbs, so just be mindful of that as well. On the Smoker stage, we're utilizing the special of King to give us a full bot of orbs. I have the Treasure Map King on our team as well. The Treasure Map King is a fantastic attack booster, so I wanted to bring in any attack booster to trigger our King auto proc. However, if you are swapping your captains around, you can't bring King, so just replace him with any other attack booster. Our Threshold remover, like I said, is the Sea Monster unit. The Sea Monster will get his special back in time by the final stage, thanks to King and all of the cooldowns that he's giving with his auto proc and all of that fun stuff. But we also have Big Mom, who can remove Threshold as well. She's a fantastic character at doing so. And if you guys don't have the cooldowns for the Sea Monster, don't stress, because Big Mom will be able to help you out. We are using the King special on this stage, so that way we can get the auto trigger of our Legend King friend captain on the next stage. The 3-turn attack boost is also quite nice because it allows us to get through this particular stage against Fuji as well. Remember, Akainu's versatility is incredibly strong. Use that to your advantage while you've got it, because it gives you a lot of extra damage. It gives you a butt ton of extra damage. However, even though the burn conditional is for 4 turns, you will only get it when the burn is activated as well. Auto triggering from King is just absolutely fantastic. If you guys don't kill on these stages as well, and you actually take damage, you'll also have Akainu's burn. But remember, when King is in his Zoan form, you have end of turn damage as well. And again, when there's no normal attacks only, characters that have end of turn damage work exceptionally well for this kind of content. On the final stage against Akainu, you will lose all your positive buffs and accumulated effects. But as you can see on this stage with this fight, we have so much going for us. We have a lot of specials still at our disposal, and we should be able to take out Akainu fairly easily. Without stalling, you actually won't have the Sea Monster special back, so utilizing Big Mom on the revive is actually very, very handy. She's not only going to remove the Threshold, but she also gives you a chain lock. You are burned on this stage too, so just be mindful of that 8k. It's not the end of the world though. You can definitely tap some perfects. Don't be afraid to, because you have plenty of HP to actually do so. Big Mom removes the Threshold, like I said. King gives you a orb boost, and as you guys will see, once you hit with anyone with an orb, you should be able to kill very, very easily. On to Sai, the easiest color of them all. We are using the dream team of the Luffy Gear 5 duo, 6+ and 6-star Luffy. Managed to get this done very, very easily. The combination of the two literally take care of majority of these effects. You get around the Despair with your 6+ Luffy, you get around the Bind with the 6-star Luffy, you get around the Threshold with the Super EX and going through defensive effects, and all you then need to do is bring Hunger. So for this team, I brought the rare recruit Sanji, as he is also a Straw Hat. This Sanji is pullable from the Brook and Frankie batch, so a very, very old rare recruit, and one that is very, very good, because he's also a chain boundary unit, so hopefully you guys will be able to pick him up. But you can replace him on this team with any Psy unit that can give you hunger removal, or can give you recovery orbs, so just be mindful of that. Brook and his double special activation makes taking out to the second stage very, very nicely. He does 50,000 fixed damage, which is super nice, because you can just easily just wave clear that particular stage. So the threshold remover on this particular team, you can use Zoro. However, or you can actually use Brook, actually. Brook is another option as well. However, you can just use the Super EX of Luffy and just burst your way through Threshold. So that works exceptionally well, and is a very, very powerful ability of Gear 5 6-star, because having a character that can go through defensive effects is one of the most broken abilities in the game. On top of that, you only lose 10% of your HP, and as you guys will see, you are gaining recovery orbs very, very easily. The whole team is built out by free-to-play Straw Hats besides that Sanji, like I said, and you can easily just bink on a bunch of the characters from the start of the game that you guys have been picking up. If you guys don't have Gear 5 Luffy, or you want to run, you can't find a friend captain, you can run the 5+ Luffy as well. The 5+ Luffy is a fantastic unit at removing Despair and Paralysis, and then you just bring a Gear 5 6-star as your friend captain, so that way you can hybrid the two of them up there, so works incredibly well there. Utilizing Robin, though, gives you conditional boosts and just gives you matching orbs. I found this team needed orb manipulation more than anything, because there are tandem orbs unfavorable and a bunch of nasty stuff there, and it was just a little bit annoying to do stuff like that. So use Robin to give us some orbs, use Zoro to give us some orb boosting, and it's fairly easy to move through these particular stages with the absolute monstrous powerhouse that both Gear 5s actually give. So onto Kizaru, he has a barrier, but again, going through defensive effects is so overpowered that you don't even have to worry about that too much. But like I said, you can use Brook or Zoro to get through the threshold and then sort of save your HP pool if you need to. But like I said earlier as well, you can easily just get some recovery orbs and hit perfects and eat the recovery orbs that way, which is another very, very powerful ability, especially for you newer players that are sort of struggling with hitting perfects without a ship's help. But like I said, I would highly recommend picking up the Ho ship or the Whale Shark, so that way you can just easily hit your perfects that way. On the final stage, I think we used the Luffy special there, sort of just a wave clear very, very nicely. Then on the final stage, we have our Gear 5 special. Gear 5 is going to give us color affinity. Gear 5 is going to give us an orb buff, and it's just going to be basically free from here. So Gear 5 Luffy's, the combination of the two is really, really strong. If you do have Gear 5 Luffy and you could find the opposite being the 6+ or the 6-star, you are going to be in a really, really good spot for a majority of content in the game, and this particular fight is no exception to that. So once the revive happens, you don't even need to worry about using a special, which is kind of nuts, because Luffy just goes through the threshold anyway. But like I said, you have Brook, you have Zoro, they are also threshold removers, and you can do some fun stuff there. So lots of options for Sai. It's very, very simple. It's very, very easy. The combination of the Gear 5 captains just, yeah, it makes it free. Honestly, it makes it so ridiculously free. Let's move on to the final fight now against Int. Now against Int, it was a little bit tricky, a little bit more challenging than normal, because Int doesn't really have a plethora of units like Sai does and like Strength does. However, something to note is I am using a friend captain Uta that is level 1. So, whilst it was a little bit harder to build for and was a little bit tricky, you can still do it with very, very low investment. And all of these teams definitely can. Like I said earlier, You don't have to have these teams 150, limit break expanded, and even limit broken to say the least. You can still get this done with like half limit breaks and stuff like that, because there are a lot of places that you're able to stall for to get specials back, so you can do more damage and easily take down particular fights that might not resemble your game to what you're seeing in this particular run here. So just be mindful of that. Bringing, like I said, a level 1 non-limit breaker Uta actually works very, very well here. The reason I brought Uta was just because her special is so ridiculously powerful. You could bring something like Yamato to remove the bind. You could do something like Halloween Law to get around the despair. You could bring, honestly, just like any other unit. However, Uta just being very, very good just helps out so drastically. Big Mom also is a really, really good unit for this particular fight, because she actually not only does end of turn damage, but she gives you Semler slots, and she heals with those Semler slots, and Semler actually counts for hunger. So she is going to be our dedicated hunger remover. As you guys can see there, once you do eat 2 Semler slots, the hunger does go away, which works very, very nicely. So we love to see that. That's always fun. So beautiful stuff on stage 2. That way we can move on to the next stage against Smoko, Toshigi, and Hina. Now, these guys have the bind and the despair. Like I said, you can bring a unit or a captain to get around that, but I thought, hey, I'm just going to use the free-to-play Caesar. Free-to-play Caesar can also poison on this stage, which means that you guys can actually get a conditional boost on top of removing the bind and the despair. He works exceptionally well, but if you don't have Caesar, if you haven't farmed him up, you can just bring any other int, bind, and despair remover. Like I said, as long as it's a unit that has bind and despair in their same kit, you will be able to get through this stage fairly nicely. Reiju is the character that we are using for Threshold. We also have Kid on the team as well. Kid's also going to get around Threshold. A lot of this team is Cerebral and Striker based, so Uta's special does buff a lot of the team. Mainly Kid, mainly Caesar, mainly Big Mom, and then utilizing a free-to-play Katakuri means that we can actually get the super type of our Big Mom to give us just a further attack boost. On the Kizaru stage, when we're going to use our Uta special, so that way we can sort of carry it into the final stage, and we should be in for a really good spot here. We do have to remove the barrier though, so just make sure you are hitting your perfects, and basically hit the perfects with the characters that don't get the Uta buffs. So that was the main plan. Onto Fuji. Pretty stock standard stuff here. You just want to use your damage to get through. The end of turn damage of Big Mom will kill the units in the back, and not having normal attacks only just works so well for the whole of this Navy fight. This particular fight against Fuji used to be a little bit challenging, and we used to have to, like I said, used to have to stall, and there's plenty of other videos out there if you guys are struggling with these particular teams. But I really wanted to highlight the combination of these types of captains can make it very, very easy for you guys to make your way through this particular piece of content. So hopefully it helps you guys out. Hopefully you manage to get these fights done, because getting them done one time is pretty much all you need to do. You get all your nice rewards, and they're very, very actually handy rewards for newer players, especially if you haven't had the time to sort of farm up stuff like treasure map and whatnot as well. So it is a nice way to sort of just get extra resources for your account to help you guys beat some of the harder content in the game, or if you're struggling with some of these arenas and stuff like that as well. For the final stage against Akainu, we have the final carryover turn of Uta. That's going to allow us to basically just take out Akainu here. I think we use a Big Mom special here, so that way we can just give ourselves matching orbs. If you guys don't have matching orbs, you can use that here, and then we can use her super type on the revive, so that way we can actually kill the final stage. Kid also is going to be ready to go, so he can get around the threshold on the revive, and you can actually hit some perfects because you are healing back with Semler slots here as well, so just be mindful of that if you guys are hitting some perfects. Don't stress about the damage that you will obviously take. That's going to wrap up the video though. Navy is a lot more challenging than the other renditions that you have seen through this series, so just be mindful of that. And if you are struggling with this, don't beat yourself up too much. Have a look around, have a chat with the community, hit up the Discords, find some friend captains, because this content, whilst is a lot harder than the last one, it's definitely very, very doable content. If you enjoyed the video, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, do all that good stuff. Most importantly though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.